Welcome everyone to X Games 2022. We are just about an hour or so northeast of downtown San Diego at Axel Hodges Sleigh Ground as it plays host to Moto X Best Whip. Hello everyone and welcome inside the booth. I'm Jimmy Coleman, standing alongside Blake Bilko Williams. We've got Victoria Arlen out in the field. And well, when you're talking about Best Whip, you got to talk about Tom Parsons. He's got 3 gold medals in this event, including the last 2 in a row.
Yeah, for sure. Tom Parsons won his first gold in 2014 and then had some mixed results for a while there, but obviously he's on a charge. One of the biggest, probably if not the biggest seat bounce whips I've ever seen, and he's going to throw it out there today, see what else he's got off the other ramps, but definitely one to watch, and he's on a lot of momentum.
Well, we also have to talk about last year's runner-up taking silver. That's Japan's Jinky Watanabe.
Yeah, he's definitely been working on his whips a lot, and for a little guy, he throws that 450 completely around. I know he's confident, he's ready to go. I'm not too sure about his haircut for the day, if we get to see that a little later, but Wanky's one to watch for sure. He wants to better that silver medal.
So those are your gold and silver medalists from last year. We talked about 2. However, there are 8 total athletes in the field. This is a 12-minute jam session. And well, basically, Bilko, the judges, they're looking for overall impression here in the span of that 12 minutes.
Yeah, overall impression, they kind of count in both the ramps. They're going to jump 2 in a row, and you have the choice of any ramp you want. So you're going to see guys either hit the 120 or the 75 off the second hit. But the first one, that's the hybrid ramp, the Levi Sherwood Special 75 ramp. A little bit poppier and kickier than your regular 75, and it's jacked up and pushed in. So definitely going to be a lot of variations of the whip, and see what impresses the judges.
Well, you see the lineup right there. Also got to shout out Tyler Berryman right there, giving the boys a high five. He was last year's bronze medalist. He is out due to injury. We also have to mention Jared McNeil. He holds 5 gold medals in this event.
Yeah, Jared has been killing it and really set the benchmark for years there. He hasn't done too well, and actually his worst finish was last year in 5th, and I'm sure he's looking for redemption, and I know he's got it in him. That kid can throw a motorcycle around.
So it's a 12-minute jam session in the quest for gold. But before we get it started, let's check in first with Victoria Arlen.
Guys, I'm right in the middle of all the action, trying not to get hit back here. But let's talk about Jared McNeil, because this is his event, and he is actually going after the most Moto X gold medals, tied with Travis Pastrana. And, you know, let's listen to his resume, shall we? He has the most medals by any Aussie. He has 15 medals in total, 14 X Game appearances. This is his 15th appearance, and he has 10 Best Whip medals. He's definitely one to keep an eye out for.
Yeah, like I said, 5 gold, 3 silver, 2 bronze. And again, as you mentioned, Victoria, he is chasing that record, trying to surpass Travis Pastrana. As a matter of fact, out of the 8 riders in the field, 6 of them have medals in this event. And Jared and Tom are the only 2 returning gold medalists. But here we go. We started off with Orlando, Florida's Christian Dresser, who is an X Games rookie, 2nd youngest Moto X competitor here at X Games 2022, Bilko.
Yeah, definitely. He's rookie for the year, but definitely comes from a racing background and has a lot of bike skills, so he's definitely going to put that to show out here.
So Corey Creed into the mix here. We typically see him in quarter pipe high air. He is coming back after injury. He got knocked out last year in Best Whip practice, was actually unconscious for 6 minutes. So glad to see Corey back in the lineup here in 2022.
Yeah, he definitely wants to come out and have some redemption for last year. It was actually the 120 ramp that took him out. That's quite the impact.
Okay, Josh Sheehan, he's already had a big morning, walked out with a freestyle medal earlier today. He took a bronze. He's one of those 2 riders. He does not own a whip medal here. Yeah,
Sheehan competing in 3 events today, so he's got a busy day ahead of him.
So now we will see, look at that headshot right there. I love that hat. Jared McNeil, 9-time X Games gold medalist, 15 medals total, trying to surpass Travis Pastrana for that Moto X gold record.
And right there, Jared just coming out, throwing heat. That's the biggest whip we've seen so far. Really throws that 250 around just for a little guy.
Well, we have not seen him in competition out here yet today. He is the man playing host here. This is none other than Axel Hodges. He is a 9-time X Games medalist. He owns 3 gold, 4 silver, 2 bronze.
Yeah, and after missing the podium last year, you know, Axel's determined. He wants to get back in there and get a medal this year.
So Julian Van Stippen making his 2nd X Games appearance. He walked out of X Games Chiba. That was in Japan back in April of this year. He got a bronze medal in Best Whip.
Damn, that is one huge. That's the biggest whip I've probably seen off the 120 ramp. Genuinely won't see riders throw as big a whips off the 120 as they do off the 75.
So that was quick 2 minutes right there. Again, a 12-minute jam session, but this is Genki Watanabe out of Osaka, Japan. As we mentioned at the top of the show, your 2021 Best Whip silver medalist.
Oh, little slip on the peg there for Wanky. Recovers well. This competition is also known as the best rev limiter.
So we're just under 10 minutes. We'll take another look here.
Throws the bike fully backwards, fully committed all the way around, still looking backwards. He's about 3/4 of the way through the jump and still not looking at the landing, but swings it back, lands perfect.
So here we go with Tom Parsons, your defending gold medalist, and as I said, he made it. He got the gold here last year in Best Whip. He's got a gold in Chiba, so looking to make it a three-peat. And the last time that happened in Best Whip, you got to go all the way back to 2013 with Jeremy Stenberg.
Yeah, see, Tom's pretty unique. He throws probably the biggest seat bounce whips, looks underneath, quite a unique style, but he does them both ways also.
So here we go, back up to the top of the order. Welcome back in Christian Dresser. So it is Axel Hodges sitting in that top spot right now, followed by Julian Van Stippen and Tom Parsons now in that number 3 spot. So no scores, you just see the names move around on the leaderboard here.
Wonder if Corey's going to avoid that 110 that took him out last year. I think he'll be fine to step up and hit it again.
He owns 1 medal in this event. He got a silver, and you saw by that graphic, he got that at X Games Sydney back in 2018. We'll see him later on today in the quarter pipe high air competition.
Let's see what Sheeny's bringing to the table. Big old seat bounce flip.
So again, you'll see those names moving around. It's sort of a live ranking, if you will. They don't score this. They just kind of talk it over there in the judges booth and just slide the names in where they believe they should be in the overall ranking. So the host to all Moto X events and BMX Dirt out here at X Games 2022, Axel Hodges sitting in that top spot for now as we take another look at Jared McNeil.
Mixing it up from his first run through there, doing 2 solid seat bounce whips. Haven't really seen Jared whip it off the 110 yet, but we can check out a replay of that 75. Hangs right off underneath the bike.
He's kind of down there in the middle of that pack. He's sitting in that number 5 spot, and look at Axel Hodges there on attempt number 2.
Yeah, he's sitting at the top there, and that pretty much shows. He's throwing probably some of the biggest turndowns I've seen him do, and that seat bounce whip off the first one was pretty insane.
So again, Julian Van Stippen walking out with a bronze medal earlier this year in Chiba, Japan. His first ever X Games appearance. He finds himself in a silver medal position for now, all the way from Belgium.
Similar style to Tom Parsons with the seat bounce whip off that first one, looking under. If you get a still shot of that from the side, it almost looks like they're doing a flip.
So 5 minutes down, 7 minutes left to go here in the Moto X Best Whip final out here for X Games 2022. Genki Watanabe, your 2021 silver medalist, just outside the podium right now, looking in that number 4 spot. But again, it's overall impression, so lots of time on the clock, and this is far from over.
Just pulling that bike around with everything he's got right there. Solid pass from Wanky.
That's his 7th X Games appearance. He owns 3 medals. They're all in Best Whip, and they are all silver. See if he can jump up into that top 3 as we take a look at our defending gold medalist from the last 2 contested Best Whip events here at the X Games, Tom Parsons. And wow, Parsons gets bumped to 4th. Genki finds himself in a bronze medal spot for now as we're working our way towards the 6-minute mark. So let's check in one more time with Victoria Arlen before we go back up to the top of the order.
All right, guys, I got an expert here, Tyler Behrman. He's got 5 Best Whip medals, 11 X Games medals total. Tyler, from a rider's perspective, can you walk us through what's going on?
Yeah, absolutely. So whips now gotten to such a level that all these guys are basically throwing it 180 in every which direction. There's your typical seat bounce whip, which you see they're kind of coming off. It's your typical supercross whip, and they're kind of getting it upside down. There's what we call a turn down, where they do full 180 and look backwards. And then there's a turn up, which is basically a combination of both. And they're getting their front wheel towards the sky. So it's crazy the level of whip now. It's elevated to such a game, and it's really cool to actually take myself out of the competition and be a witness of it and a whole new perspective.
Speaking of comp, walk us through this one.
Yeah, so this is, I an X Games rookie. His name's Christian Dresser, and he just, so how this works, this is 2 jumps. Each rider gets 3 runs through the course, and it's an overall impression of both jumps over the 3 runs. So they'll get judged after each one of their runs. There's 3 different ramps. There's a 110-foot ramp, and then there's a 75-foot ramp, and then another 75-foot ramp. So there's multiple options, and so here's Josh Sheehan showcasing a typical seat bounce whip.
Can you talk us about like what a whip is?
Yeah, so a whip is basically, the goal of a whip is to leave the ramp and get your bike as upside down or backward as possible. So Jared here, just typical seat bounce whip upside down, and then he's going into a second jump here, and then he did his opposite seat bounce. So he was able to do a seat bounce whip and do it in both directions. So the judges watching in the booth are really going to be stoked on that overall impression of 2 different kinds of whips. It's doing it your regular way and your ambidextrous way. So Axel just did a huge seat bounce whip on the first one, and then he just hit the 110-foot ramp and did what we call a turn up. So he brings his front into the sky and kind of puts his body in front of the bike. So
well, Tyler Behrman, you've heard it from the expert. Thank you so much for hanging with us.
Yeah, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Guys.
Well, thank you, Victoria and Tyler. By the way, as we said earlier, Tyler was your bronze medalist in Best Whip out here last year, sitting this one out due to injury. So, Tyler, thanks for joining us here on the call, and we wish you a speedy recovery. Can't wait to see you in the lineup in the future here. So, with 4:20 and counting down left to go here, it's still Axel Hodges, followed by Julian Van Stippen and Janky Watanabe, your 1, 2, 3.
Now, got to say again, Julian Van Stippen off that 110 ramp, that is huge. It's as big as most of the other guys are doing off the 75 ramps, and he just threw it off the 120. I'd love to see that one again in slow-mo, but Axel definitely coming out swinging there. He's got the grip between his teeth. He wants to take that gold best whip back, but good insight there from Tyler Behrman. Shame to not see him out there. He's a gold medalist in this, so he knows all about this event. See another shot of Wenke there, get it nice and backwards.
He missed the podium at Chiba back in April. He was 1 spot on the outside, had to settle for 4th right there. But like I said, he's got 3 X Games medals. They're all in Best Whip, and they're all silver. He's always knocking on the door. He was in the top spot going back to 2021. He was in the lead all the way to the very end, and it came down to the last couple runs there when Tom Parsons overtook him right there. But speaking of that, your defending gold medalist from the last 2 events, he finds himself on the outside looking in right now, Bilko, with just about 3 minutes left to go.
I think he's still got a bit left in the tank. I was just about to say that, and right there he goes and throws one of his signature huge upside down whips. He actually looks underneath the motorcycle on the second one. So check that out. But yeah, Tom had a really bad wrist injury that kind of hampered him for a few years there. See him looking under, but he actually switched to a thumb throttle, like a quad, just to take the stress off his wrist, and was still competitive in it with that. So that's quite the feat, but now his wrist is good enough to use the normal throttle, and he's got 2 golds since then.
And again, going back to what I said earlier, if he's able to three-peat, it will be the last time we've seen that in this event at the X Games since Jeremy Stenberg did it in 2013. But at the 2.5-minute mark here, it's still Hodges, Van Stippen, and Watanabe. Your top 3 as we look at the X Games rookie again here, Christian Dresser, moved from Florida to San Diego June of last year.
Nice, getting it nice and sideways there. It's quite a skinny landing for that first jump. And you got to, if you're hitting the 110, click 3rd, send it. Big old turn down there. Nice, smooth style. You can tell he comes from a racing background.
Yeah, actually grew up racing until he was 17, started free riding soon after. As we take another look at Corey Creed. Corey in that number 6 spot. For now, with under 2 minutes left to go here in the Moto X Best Whip final.
Big old turn down. He goes the opposite way to most of the other guys there.
He's a 2-time Moto X quarterpipe high air gold medalist. He got wins in Minneapolis and X Games Norway, both in 2019.
Nice, smooth seat bounce whip. And there's that turn down. Fully backwards. Cranks on those bars, straightens it up, and there you go.
see if that changes up the standing at all. Again, he was in that number 6 position prior to that run there. So we're coming down to the final minute here, and when the time runs out, we will finish out the run order. Josh Sheehan earned another freestyle medal earlier today. The best whip medal has eluded him throughout his X Games career.
Oh, he's going a little bit cheeky there. Whip kept on spinning around with a 360. See how they score that.
Hey, you know what? Why not have some fun out there? You come out here early in the morning, you tack on another freestyle bronze, have some fun with it.
Exactly, and he's in 3 events today, so pretty focused for the best trick for later for him. That's a bit of a nerve-wracking event, that one, but here we got McNeil. He wants to get redemption. He's been off the podium for a while now. 5th place last year was his worst finish in this event.
Yeah, you got to go back to Norway 2019 for his last Best Whip gold medal performance.
Actually, the turn down there, he kind of corrected it pretty early, and as you can see, we call it an in-swinger. The back wheel starts coming back past straight when you come into the landing and swinging back the opposite way. Check it out here. And he uses all his body weight to snap back, but if you watch the rear end, it'll actually come back past straight and cut off at the end. Here we go. Swinging in, and then it keeps going back to the side there, so you got to be careful with that. If you bring it back too early, it's going to swing right back underneath you.
So we will see if we will get another round of runs here. The clock was running out there, and as I said before, once time expires, we do finish out the run order here. So Axel Hodges currently sitting in that top spot. I mean, he's pretty much been there the entire time throughout this comp. We have not seen much change up there in our top 3.
Yeah, it's pretty well deserved too. That first run he did, huge seat bounce was on the first one, and yeah, solid turn down, probably the biggest one we've seen today.
Yeah, he had to settle for 4th last year. He settled for 5th at X Games Chiba in the best whip side of things.
Yeah, I think the overall impression too is what's helping out with that huge seat bounce whip. I don't think it's quite as big as Parsons and maybe Van Stippen, but then the turn down with that combination, it's given him the overall impression to have him in 1st place.
Well, he owns 1 silver and 2 bronze medals in the event, so if this holds up, he'll be running the trifecta. He'll have 1 of each.
Really hoping Van Stippen throws another one off the 110 here. I just want to check this out because it is huge.
He sits in that number 2 spot for right now.
Oh my, yes, that is insane.
That would be impressive in 2 X Games starts to walk out with 2 medals. He got a bronze in Chiba back in April, looking at a potential silver for now with Jinky Watanabe and Tom Parsons left to go here.
Here we go. I want to see the slow-mo of this one. Look at that. That's probably the biggest whip I've seen off the 110. That was fully backwards. Look how fast it flings off the ramp. He's completely backwards right there. Man, that is awesome. I wonder if that'll challenge Axel for the top spot. There's a chance.
We're going to get the big reveal at the end here. I mean, we saw that happen last year. I mean, Janky was in that top spot, and then Parsons ended up taking that one away when it came down to the last round. Your 2021 silver medalist here, this is Osaka, Japan's Janky Watanabe.
Yes, sending it off for the last run there. Huge turn down, Wanky. Good job, Wanky son. See how aggressive they are off the ramp. Just to put everything they got into throwing that bike to get it as far backwards as they can. Oh, Axel's lost his bike.
Well, it's going to come down to this last run. Time has expired on the clock, and we finish out the run order. Again, he has won the last 2 Best Whip contested events here at the X Games. 2021 here at the Sleigh Ground, as well as X Games Chiba back in April. This is Tom Parsons' last attempt.
One last roll of the dice to see if he can get himself up on that podium. Huge. Looking underneath there, it's quite unique the way Tom does that. He's one of the only riders to do that.
So here comes the moment. It's the big reveal.
Big old seat bounce whip. Going back to back with the seat bounce whips. And right there as he cranks the handlebars, looks across the other side there. The still shots are quite amazing of that.
He owns 3 gold medals and 2 silver in this event. We talked about Jared McNeil, 5-time gold medalist here in Best Whip, 3 silver, 2 bronze. 6 out of the 8 riders in the field own Best Whip medals. What is it going to be
That was the haircut I was talking about. Wanky's gone color-coded with his gear and graphics. I like it.
He's sticking with the sponsor theme out here on the color, that's for sure. So last year it was Jinky Watanabe sitting in that top spot to the very end, and then Tom Parsons just snuck in there and walked away with the gold. Axel Hodges was sitting in that top spot throughout most of this competition. However, you got to talk about the performance that Julian Van Stippen put in out here today.
Yeah, I was blown away by that. I mean, that's definitely, it's going to be between those two, and I wouldn't be surprised if Van Stippen took it, but we'll have to see what the judges think. He had a solid whip off the first ramp too, so overall impression's good.
And here we go, and the medal's coming out, and it's going to go to Julian Van Stippen.
Amazing. I think the 120 is what got him over the line there. That was incredible.
He earned himself a bronze in Chiba in April this year. Now he's going to trade it up and walk out of here with an X Games Moto X Best Whip gold. Axel Hodges taking home a silver, and Tom Parsons, your two-time defending gold medalist, walks out of here with the bronze.
That was fun to watch. I'm really impressed with Van Stippen and that ramp off the whip off the big ramp. He's got to be stoked. Second X Games appearance and second medal, and it's a gold.
Well, you talked about Parsons being on the outside looking in there and just, again, like he did last year when he won gold, gets it done in that last run there and slides in to walk away here with a bronze. That's a tough break right there for Janky. He's going to have to settle for fourth, but let's take another look here at Julian Van Stippen.
Oh, we got Tom Parsons here. I think this is the run that got him up on the podium there. That was it. One last roll of the dice, and he's done enough to land on the box. So well done, Tom.
Yeah, he was on the outside looking in and slides into that #3 position. So your defending gold medalist will settle for bronze. So let's send it down now to Victoria Arland, who was with Julian Van Stippen.
Julian Van Stippen, the gold medalist. Now, you were second throughout this entire event. How were you able to sneak in on the last run?
I gave my best on the last one. I was focused to go upside down, and I did it. I'm pretty happy. It's Belgium National Day.
Yes.
I got the gold medal. This is for my sponsors, my agent Nico, my family. Papa, maman, je vous la rapporte. Elle est à nous. I got it.
You got it. Woo! Congratulations.
Thank you. Thanks for Monster Energy, IXS, Bud Racing, everyone, Garen, everyone around me, all my team, my friend who crashed last week, Rocky's Leg Gym. I'm here, bro. I got it. Phew!
Gold medalist. Phew! Back to you guys.
You know, Axel Hodges was in the driver's seat for most of that. You didn't see a lot changing with that top three right there, but in the end there, Parsons sneaks in and bumps Janky out.
Yeah, I think the whole thing there was, it was going to be a battle with Axel and Julian. Once I seen Julian's second run and that huge whip off the 110, I knew he had a shot. But yeah, Axel was sitting comfortable at the top, but you know, as you know, the last round can change everything.
Well, that is a wrap here for Moto X Best Whip Final. It's Tom Parsons walking out of here with a bronze. Axel Hodges nets a silver medal here, but in 2 Best Whip appearances, Julian Van Stippen now walks out of here with X Games gold.